Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir.
How are you?
I'm fine, sir. And you?
I am good. I am good. Thank you for asking. So we are good to start. I believe I can see anyone new joined in?
Yes, I am. My name is Ramesh Kumar.
And Naresh, how are you?
Sorry, I'm using my colleague's laptop. I'm Ramesh.
Ramesh. Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you're Naresh. How
No, no, no.
are you?
Yeah, I'm good, sir.
Okay, so we are good to start in next 1 minute. Let me settle down the rest of the things on my side.
Yes, sir. I am also new in this batch. My
Hey,
name is Ankush.
Hey, Ankush, how are you?
Fine, sir. What about you?
I am good. I am good. Thank you for asking. So just go through the previous sessions, what we have covered. And today we will be starting with DTP. Let me share my screen. My screen is visible.
Yes.
DTP is dynamic trunking protocol. Do we know why we use DTP? What is the motive to use DTP? Or what exactly we achieve by implementing DTP?
Sir, by name, it look like a, for dynamic IP. I mean,
Not related to IP. So
IP.
again, this would be working at layer 2 of OSI reference model, which is data link layer. What exactly it does? Okay, so first of all, it is used on Cisco iOS switches, and it helps you to negotiate if interface should be or should become trunk or access. DTP ideally would be negotiated between the switches. So on this link, we would say DTP would be negotiated. So it won't be negotiating to a connection where you have PC, routers, firewalls. No, it won't work here. Why? Because the two ends should be the same, supporting DTP as a protocol. Is this clear till now?
One more time, sir, please.
Yeah. So ideally, on Cisco switches, whenever you are connecting a link between two different Cisco switches, DTP protocol will help you to negotiate whether this port should become a trunk port or this port should become an access port. This is a automatic feature which ideally is implemented or ideally is enabled on connections between different switches. This will not be negotiated towards machines, towards firewalls, towards routers, or towards any other devices which are not switches. Is this
Okay.
clear
And
now?
so, yeah. And this one is only for Cisco switches? What
It is for Cisco switches.
only Cisco?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, now DTP, how exactly DTP frame is created? The source MAC address of DTP frame would be an interface MAC, whatever MAC you have on this interface, whereas the destination MAC is going to be 0100 0C CC CC CC. This is the MAC address on which DTP frames are sent across another switches or to another switches. Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Perfect. Any kind of doubts to anyone else?
Sir, it's gonna be the same like a vice versa, if like source MAC address to the other switch and from the same thing.
So when switch 1 will initiate the DTP frame, it will pick up the interface MAC address, whatever present over here. Let's say the
Yes.
MAC address is A for assumption and MAC address here is B. Okay.
B. Mm.
And so what it will do, switch 1 will generate it with source MAC address of A and destination MAC address of whatever
B.
we have written over here. No, this is the destination MAC for
Oh, sorry.
DTP frame.
Yeah, got it.
Whenever switch 2 will generate the DTP frame, it will have a source MAC address of B and destination MAC address would
That's
be of same what we have configured here or whatever is configured here.
okay.
So is this clear now? I believe you guys were not there in the last session where we have spoken about default VLAN. So these details are DTP details are exchanged through the default VLAN. Default VLAN is VLAN 1.
Mhm.
Details exchanged through default VLAN.
So last weekend I wasn't able to attend your class, but on a portal I was reading your for your videos, recording video, right? There was only 127 Saturday. What about the Sunday one?
So Sunday there was no lecture.
Ah, okay. All right, sir.
Okay. Now let's talk more about it. Now, what are the different types of modes in DTP? Should I clean this up?
Yeah, sir. I'm okay. I don't know about others.
Considering them
sir.
to be good.
Yeah, sir, please go on.
There are two types or two options, what you can say. One is dynamic auto. Another one is dynamic desirable. Okay. In simple words, what is dynamic auto? The one which is passive, which is ready to accept whatever other guy is offering. Whereas dynamic desirable is showing the desire to make the port as a trunk port. So to go further in detail about this, let me write down a matrix which eventually will be able to help us understand how the things looks like. Trunk, access, dynamic auto, dynamic desirable. We have already seen in our previous sessions that there are only two type of ports, right? One is either trunk, another one is access.
Yeah, one is trunk, one is access, sir.
Now, we talk about it as a trunk, access, dynamic auto, and dynamic desirable. Now consider this is switch 1 and this is switch 2 and you are configuring it in this way. What if you configure switch 1 as a trunk and switch 2 also as a trunk? What will be the final outcome?
Tagged
Trunk.
Trunk.
trunk, yeah.
Right. What if my switch 1 is a trunk and switch 2 is an access?
So that go, I think untagged, right?
No,
That will
it
be
would
trunk.
be limited, or it won't be trunk. It won't work ideally.
Access.
Consider, right? This is switch 1. This is switch 2. This port has been configured as trunk and this port has been configured as access. Okay. Now consider it. Any of the data passing through switch 1 will be sent towards switch 2 as a trunk or tagged, right? And any of the data passing from switch 2 towards switch 1 will be sent as untagged.
Untagged.
Here you would have multiple VLAN data. Here you have only single VLAN data. So there are limitations that this won't work in this scenario. That is the reason we are keeping it as limited. Okay. Now what would happen if your one side is dynamic auto and on other side, or your switch 1 is configured as a trunk and the other side is configured as dynamic auto? So what I told you about dynamic auto, that it is ready to accept whatever other side is offering. What other side is offering?
Trunk.
Trunk. So this will be
Trunk.
What is dynamic desirable? It is taking the lead in its own hand. It is showing that I want to take the lead. So whatever is dynamic desirable showing, trunk will accept to that. Or in simple words, whatever trunk is offering, dynamic desirable, because the word is dynamic, it will get adapted to that. So if this is trunk, dynamic desirable will be
Trunk.
trunk. Let me clean this up. Now let's talk about second. What if my switch 1 is access and other side is trunk? What it would be?
Limited.
The example what we just saw. What if my one side is access and other side is also access?
Access.
Good. What if my switch 1 is an access and switch 2 is dynamic auto?
So it will be access again.
Access again.
Yes. And last scenario, what is going to be switch 1 as an access and switch 2 as dynamic desirable? What it would be?
Same access, sir.
Yeah. Why?
Access.
Because this
It will
guy
Yeah.
will get the preference, and dynamic desirable or dynamic auto will get a more preference. Okay. Or basically they will get adapted to whatever is being offered on as per the other side. Now moving to third, what if I have configured dynamic auto here and trunk here, which is a reverse situation, what we have already seen.
Trunk.
This is going to be trunk. This is going to be
Access.
Now this is important, because now we will be moreover talking about same matching scenario. What if you have both sides configured as dynamic auto? Auto means passive. Yes, auto means they will not adapt. They will not proactively go to trunk state. So by that means it is going to be
Access.
But here, if you have one side as dynamic auto and on other side it is dynamic desirable, what it would do?
Maybe trunk.
Things are same access.
No. So what would happen in this scenario? The moment you are configuring one side as dynamic, see, now what is the scenario? Both sides are ready to adapt to each other, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Previous to this, it was explicitly said that it would be access or it would be trunk. But now here also it is dynamic and here also it is dynamic. They are ready to dynamically change as per the requirement. So whenever you have this combination where one side is dynamic desirable and other side is dynamic auto, it is going to make it is going to take a precedence as a trunk. So this is the whole behavior of DTP. Is this clear?
Yep.
Now, what if my other side is, what if my switch one is a dynamic desirable and other side has a trunk?
So it's trunk.
What if my one side is dynamic desirable and other side is access?
Is access.
Access.
What if my one side is dynamic desirable and other side is auto, which we have just seen?
Trunk.
And now I am claiming that my both sides are dynamic desirable.
Access.
So if both sides are dynamic desirable, what
Oh,
it would
so
say?
Trunk, trunk.
Trunk.
Trunk. This is how the whole dynamic desirable or dynamic auto would work in all the possibilities. These are all the possibilities what we have covered. There is no possibility which is left. Go
Mhm.
on. Any kind of doubts?
Hi, Sumit sir. Shamsher this side.
Yes, Shamsher, tell
So
me.
I actually missed the last class and started. So I believe in our real environment scenario, we are not actually keeping this, or it's not suggested to keep it the ports like in dynamic auto or in dynamic desirable, or it's best to configure them as trunk or access.
Yes,
Is that true? I mean, because
it
this
is
is how
true.
we
It is true. It is true.
Okay.
Reason, this feature is not used. 10 years of my career, I have not seen this feature is being used anywhere by any of the customers.
Okay.
Okay, just that it is a part of our curriculum. So I'm just
Okay.
trying to cover up from that aspect. But if you ask me whether it is really being used, no, it is not.
Correct. Okay.
Go on. Any other doubts?
Sir, is there any way like can you show us like an example? I mean,
We'll be doing
in
lab.
lab. Okay.
Now we'll be doing the lab.
Okay.
Okay. I am considering there are no further doubts. Let's quickly go to the lab part. What is the problem? I'll create a new lab for this. So you get more labs to practice. DTP. Ideally, till last batch, I was not really taking DTP as in the curriculum. I did not find it useful, but this time I thought, okay, let's take it.
Hmm.
Two switches. Now, what is the default behavior? I will not do any kind of configurations, and we will see what is the default behavior it will show to us. Okay.
Okay.
Let it get booted. Will come up now. We will give the host names to avoid the confusion. Host name is switch 1, and here it is going to be switch 2. Now what we would do is gigabit 0 by 0 on both sides. So I'll go to, I'm not making any changes. Okay, I'll show you the configurations, what we have on interconnected link between the two switches. Just drawing the quick diagram here for the reference. And on both sides, the ports used are 0 by 0. Same thing on switch 2. Show run interface gig 0 by 0. Do we see any kind of configurations present? Did we add up anything?
No, sir, just a
No.
host name.
Host name, nothing apart from that. So if I check
Yeah.
what are the default configurations present on this gigabit 0 by 0, and you see the behavior.
VLAN1.
What do you see? What is administrative mode?
Dynamic auto.
This is dynamic auto. I'll use the short form as DA. So on switch 1, it is DA. And on switch 2, show interface gig 0 by 0 switch port. What it is?
Same.
Dynamic auto. So if I have dynamic auto on both sides, what it would give as a conclusive result?
Access.
Access. Where do we see? What is a mode? Operating mode is
Static mode.
static mode. Is this good?
Yep.
Are there any students present in the lobby? I don't think so. I had disabled the. Okay. Is this good till now? What do we see? By default, it is dynamic auto and it is in access mode. Now, if you see, negotiation of trunking is on by default. We have not made any kind of changes, any configuration still. Yeah, Shamsher, I believe we already spoke. We just started.
Oh, okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So by default, what is the negotiation trunking mode? It is showing as on. Okay, this is the default behavior. I have not made any kind of changes and it is showing you as in access mode. Now what I will do is, on one side, I will try to configure it as maybe first access, switch port mode access. This is an explicit configuration what we have done, okay? If I show you the configurations. Now I am explicitly saying switch port mode access, and the moment I'm saying it, we will see what is the behavior now. What was the previous mode?
DA. Static.
Previous, before configuring, this was DA, dynamic auto,
DA.
correct?
Yeah.
Now we have explicitly said this is access. And on other side, I still have DA. So what would be the final outcome if I have access on one side and I have dynamic auto on other side?
Access.
Is it showing as access, operating mode, static
Mhm.
access?
Mhm.
And if I just go on other side and show the same command again, what exactly it is showing? Still static access?
Yep.
Right? So one side access, one side DA, it is going to
DA.
be access. Let me change it. Let me make the mode to be trunk now. Switch port mode trunk maybe. Yeah, okay, switch port trunk encapsulation .1q switch port mode trunk. Now I have explicitly configured the port to be in which mode? Trunk port. What do you see? This is interesting. Now my administrative mode has become trunk. On one side it is trunk. And on the other side it is DA. So one side DA, one side trunk. What would be the outcome?
Trunk.
Trunk. It is still showing as operational mode as question mark, because when we executed the command, it was still negotiating. And if I check it again, what do you see? What is the mode it has negotiated now?
Trunk.
Trunk. And if I go and check on other side, It is still dynamic auto, but what is an operational mode?
Wrong.
So one side trunk and one side dynamic access is going to be trunk. Is this clear? Any
Yeah.
kind of doubts?
No, sir.
Okay. Now going back, switch port mode dynamic auto. I'm explicitly saying that now it is again dynamic auto. Let's see what happens. So this is dynamic auto. Other side is already dynamic auto. We have not configured it. And if I check it now, show interface gig 0x0 switch port. What it has converted again?
Access.
Any kind of doubts till now?
No, sir.
Sir, you know, to change from a DA to like DA, access to DA. I mean, mostly all the switches now is like comes with a GUI, right?
Okay. Now you need to understand this. Totally depends on what vendor you are working.
Hmm.
Okay. And what platform you are working. You will see whether the switches would have a CLI or GUI. With
Okay.
Cisco switches, even if you talk today, what is the latest model which currently Cisco is selling? Anyone knows? The latest model what Cisco is selling in iOS or Catalyst switches.
9200 are the latest.
Cisco
And
9200, correct?
17 iOS 17 they are running on.
17 is a series of iOS what they are running. So basically they talk that the series what they call to this is Cisco Catalyst 9000 series. Okay. And under 9000 you will see the whole switching family, in which you will see it as 9200, 9300, 9500. Okay. Different type of platforms. See this 9200, 9300, 9400, 95, 96, and then these are industrial Ethernet switches, and then many more. But the whole family, this whole family still works on CLI. Not whole family, I would say. Meraki is exceptional, leave that aside. DNA is altogether a different implementation, which can also be done on Catalyst 9K series. But if you talk about 9500, 9200, 9300, on which I work on daily basis, these are still on CLI part.
Okay.
Okay, is this clear?
Yes.
Now going back, we have not configured anywhere dynamic desirable. Okay. I am going to configure this port as dynamic desirable now. Dynamic desirable. And the moment I configure it, we will see what exactly it will show. Show interface gig 0x0 switch port. What do you see? Dynamic desirable. So one side is dynamic desirable, other side is dynamic access. What is output you are seeing?
Trunk.
So whatever theory we saw till now, I believe this covers all our probabilities. Anything is missing?
No.
Just give me one moment. I believe there is someone at the door. Just 1 second.
Hi team, I'm Ramesh. Do we have any WhatsApp group, something like that? Because we are on the first day today. Hello?
I'm back. So we have covered all the mode, I'm assuming this. Now, how exactly are these details exchanged? How does switch 1 or how does switch 2 comes to know what is the mode configured on other side? Aren't you wondering about this aspect? If I am configuring this side as dynamic access, not dynamic access, dynamic auto or dynamic desirable, other side switch is also changing its behavior, right? Now, if you go on switch 2, again, I'll show you the output. Switch 2 is also configured. Switch 2 is configured as dynamic auto and the operational mode is a trunk mode. So this is the last example what we have seen. Now, this is where the DTP is performing the function of negotiation. And if you see administrative trunking and encapsulation, it is telling you that it is in the mode of negotiate. So they are fine to negotiate with each other. And that is a whole behavior what we are seeing with these probabilities. But how does switch 1 sends, or how does switch 2 comes to know what is configured on switch 1? Because the moment I'm making this as a dynamic desirable, it is automatically changing the behavior and maybe converting itself into the trunk. Or maybe if I will again configure it as dynamic auto, switch port mode dynamic auto, and you will see switch 2 would have eventually changed. Do you see the operational mode here is access the moment we configured it, made the changes, whereas previously the operational mode was a trunk mode. So how does switch 2 knows what is the value or what are the configurations done on switch 1 side? Any guesses?
There was addresses, sir.
At the start, I told you one of the important aspect, which was each of the switch will send a DTP packets, correct?
Yeah.
These DTP packets are containing all these details. This is my personal lab. Give me a moment. I'll just pick up any 2 switches. DTP. To do the captures, we will use my own lab. So via US, 2 switches. Connecting back to back. I'm not going to do any configurations because by default, we just want to see how the DTP packet would look like. If I just do a capture over here, gigabit 0 by 0. This is how the captures would start now, I hope. Switch is still booting up. And let's see the captures. We are able to see the captures. Let's see if we get anything with DTP. We see the DTP packets, dynamic trunking protocol. Okay. If you just open it, do you see the value here? Access/auto. This is how switch 1 is informing whether it is a dynamic auto or not. And if you see, the value has been changed over here. For access, it is all 0 cross 0. But for trunk, it is 0 cross 4. So switch 1 is informing to switch 2 that I am having auto mode configured. You have to concentrate on this value. On this value. And this is how switch 1 is informing to switch 2 that I have administrative status as auto. Same thing switch. So if you see the MAC address over here, it is ending with 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. So this MAC address as per the topology, what we have over here belongs to switch 1. If I just show you the same, how do I validate? What is the MAC address? Show interface gig 0 by 0. What is the MAC address you are able to see? And compare it with this. So the MAC address is 01:00:00, which is exactly same. So by that means this is the second packet, or this is the second frame, which is originated by switch 2. And if we check switch 2, it is also in auto mode. So by default, the two modes, if they are configured as auto, it would turn out to be
Auto.
access, right? That's how switch is informing to each other what are the types. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Let me clean this mess. Now, how to disable? If you want to disable it, how would you disable it? One option is you can configure the port as access, and the moment you configure it, the negotiation would stop. And that's how towards the end machines where you have routers connected, or you may be having firewalls connected, or voice over IP phones connected, anything, printer or access points, the moment you configure it as switch port mode access, and if I just show you the same output again, where it is, I'll show you the difference. Negotiation of trunking. Was it on earlier? So we have gone through these steps. Earlier negotiation of trunking was on. So this shows my DTP is on. I configure here the port as access. And the moment I configure it as an access, and if I check it again, my negotiation of trunking has gone to off mode. So DTP is off. Is this good?
Yes, sir.
Any kind of doubts?
Just one question, sir, I want to ask. Okay, so this is applicable for like all the vendor switches or just with the Cisco
This
only?
Cisco, this behavior is Cisco. We are talking about Cisco DTP. I don't think so. Cisco, the DTP is working on other other series of switches.
Okay.
Now, what we will do is first option to disable DTP is make port as an access. And then second option is we have to say this command under the specific interface, switch port no negotiate. So what you are telling to the switch, don't negotiate. Okay, this is another way to disable the DTP. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, if you want to disable the DTP with no negotiate, you have to explicitly define the trunk mode. Okay. Whether you want to run with ISL or you want to run with a .1Q, whatever option, but you have to explicitly say that I am going to run this device into trunk mode with encapsulation type as .1Q or ISL. And when you say no negotiate, it means other side will not negotiate and you will also not negotiate. If I just do this interface gig 0 by 0, and if I just try to put it, as of now, we have dynamic desirable configured or we have static mode access configured. Let me make it default. So default interface gig 0 by 0. And if this is interface gig 0 by 0 again, switch port no negotiate. If I do this, what it is saying, conflict between no negotiate and dynamic, because by default, the behavior is it will have it as dynamic auto. So these two commands will not exist with each other. Okay. And that's where I'm saying that you have to explicitly define what kind of encapsulation type you want to run, and you want to run it in trunk mode. If I just say switch port trunk encapsulation, maybe .1Q and switch port mode trunk. I have executed, I'm telling this device that I am interested to execute, or I'm interested to run this interface as a trunk mode. But if I show you the negotiation, whether it is on or off, so show interface gig 0x0 switch port. What do you see? My negotiation is still on, correct? And if I configure the port as switch port no negotiate now, it is not giving me the error. And if I show you now, the behavior is negotiation of trunking is off. Go on. Any kind of doubts with till this point?
No, sir.
Oh, sir, I actually need to know about this encapsulation command, because in production, like we have 2960S, which are the very old version of switches. So on those switches, when we configure a trunk port, we have to perform this encapsulation, correct?
Yes.
However, now if we go with the any, 2960X, even with X or with 92, we do not have to perform this command. So how it differs, like why we are not performing, and is that the iOS, or is that
no?
What exactly?
So if you are not there in the last lecture, there are two types of trunking encapsulation, right?
Yes.
Trunking encapsulation. Which is first one?
ISL.
ISL. And
Got
second one is 802.1Q.
Yes.
Correct? These are the two. Now, what are the platforms on which you have to run both commands? 2960.
Okay.
Okay. And on newer platforms, which is 9200. Correct?
Correct.
Why you have to run both commands? That is trunk encapsulation .1Q. .1Q, and here second command is mode trunk.
Trunk, yes.
And on 9200 it is only mode trunk.
Mode trunk, yes.
Because 2960, very old switch,
Yes.
correct?
Correct, yes.
Probably it is that much old. That time ISL was also supported on that.
Correct. Correct.
Now, if you have ISL supported as well as 802.1Q supported, you have to explicitly tell which type of trunking encapsulation you want to run.
Correct. Okay.
That's why you are saying that switch port mode trunk encapsulation is 802.1Q.
Correct. Okay.
With 9200, ISL has already become obsolete.
Correct, yes. Yes.
Not supported.
Correct, yes.
So if it is not supported, what is the default mode you will be running?
802. Correct. Correct.
So if it is already by default only one command is running, by default only one type of encapsulation is running, the moment you configure it as a switch port mode trunk, it will be automatically taking this.
Okay, okay, sir. Got it.
Made sense?
Yes, sir. Yes. Thank you.
Go on. Any other thing? Maybe I have a switch with me already, but I don't know whether it is 2960, but I can show you. This is my home switch. I can do a quick login to that maybe. I don't remember the password for this. I always can. No, I do remember. Just one moment. I'll show you difference. Yeah. Show. I'll pick up any one interface for random. Doesn't matter what it is. I have cables running. I don't remember what are the cables running on what switches. Maybe I can just, I'll not execute any command, or even if I do it. First of all, what is this switch? Show version. This is a 3560.
3560, yes.
Okay. Just give me one moment. There is someone needs Zoom link. Copy invite link. Now, if it is 2960, I'll go to any one interface, 0x5, switch port mode trunk. And what exactly it is saying? Command rejected. Same, right?
Correct, yes.
Why?
Yes.
Now, switch port, trunk, encapsulation. And if you see, one is .1Q and one is ISL. There are both modes supported. That is the reason with older switches, you have to explicitly tell what type of mode you want to run. And for that, you have to define whether the encapsulation type is going to be trunk, or encapsulation type is going to be .1Q, or it is going to be ISL. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Good enough?
Yes, sir.
Go on. Any other doubts?
No, sir.
No.
Okay, just one moment. Copy invite link, and I have given it. Now, we'll be talking about our next topic, which is going to be, let me clean this up. I don't need this anymore. I'll open this later on.
Sir, any open standard equivalent of DTP?
I don't think so.
Okay.
We can find out. I've not really been bothered, to be honest. DTP, dynamic.
Like we can say GVRP for VTP, but what is for DTP?
Dynamic trunking protocol for Juniper, maybe. See, it totally depends, right? Whether they would really explore whether how much need is there to define a new protocol from open standard, how much efforts you have to put in bringing up something. If they find out that it is not worth, open standard or IEEE never came up with the details. It is that simple.
Okay, makes sense.
Right. So see, you want to develop something first, you will go and explore what exactly is the requirement behind it. Now, to be honest, VTP, which is another protocol what we will be talking now, as well as DTP, it holds no value. I don't think so. It adds any value addition, or it does any value addition into our current implementation. So if it doesn't do any value addition, why I would put the efforts to go and create everything, right? That's why I don't see, even I'm not bothered to find out anything, but I don't see anything present over here.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
good to move.
One quick question, sir.
Go on.
So for the Cisco, you told this DTP will use, but in other of the, what about other switches we have, like Linksys and D-Link? What any thought about those, sir?
Nothing will be used, not supported.
Not
So
supported. Nothing.
this is only for Cisco, sir, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So this feature will work only with Cisco, and the other
Yes.
switches we have, so there is nothing happening.
Yes.
And one more thing, like if this feature doesn't exist in this Cisco switch, then what will happen?
Sorry, what? This feature is not present. See, this is not a mandatory feature what you want to really want to have. You can configure switch port mode trunk, and you can define what is going to be negotiation between the two switches, right?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about a production where the actual infrastructure works. Companies are spending money to build an infrastructure. They will be creating the configurations and pushing them for trunk mode. They will not really be relying on DTP.
Yeah,
Where
right.
it is not supported, you can manually configure the trunk, right? That option is still present. Dynamic is just a dynamic way, flexibility what they have given.
So it
So
means it is only for our knowledge.
Yeah, it is for your knowledge.
Okay.
and it still exists on all the Cisco switches. Those are
Not
latest,
mandatory.
and those are all-
Not mandatory. On existing Cisco switches, they may not exist.
Yeah. Okay then. All right. Understood. So we can go ahead.
Go on. Anything else? Cool. Next protocol is VTP. Yeah. Do you know what is VTP?
VLAN trunking protocol.
Yes, sir.
Good. Why VTP? What is the need of VTP?
To send the VLAN information to other switches.
Why we need that?
So like in a large L2 network, it is useful. Like if I need to configure like hundreds of VLAN in hundreds of switches, VTP is also is useful.
So, in simple words, you are having 10 departments in your company. Or I won't go to this example. This is very old now. I will go with more realistic or practical approach. You have different domains in your company. One is data, voice, IPTV,
Servers.
servers, CCTV, access points, printers, access cards. And we are assuming we will only allocate one VLAN to each. Okay, so how many VLANs we have to configure? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, and I have 40 odd number of switches in my infra where I'm supposed to configure all these VLANs. So 40 switches into 8 lines of configuration. I'm just considering I'm only giving the name VLAN, like whatever name of that VLAN name, VLAN 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, whatever XYZ. How much? In simple words, maybe 320 lines of configurations, right? Too much administrative overhead.
Yes.
Administrative overhead of configurations. This is a problem statement for us, right? Who solved my problem?
VLAN trunking protocol, VTP.
VTP solves this problem. VTP is nothing but a protocol which will help you to reduce administrative efforts. Another important aspect what you have to consider, this is again Cisco
Yes. Proprietary.
This is again Cisco proprietary. So what VTP will help you? It will help you to create the VLAN, delete or modify the VLAN details. Right? Now, how this whole scenario is done, we will talk about it. What are different aspects under it? We will also talk about it. But before we start going in that direction, some again basics of VTP. Okay. The most important, your VTP packets are carried out in .1q frame. ISL, I'm not saying it is also carried out in ISL, but because ISL is no more used, it is obsolete. That's why I'm saying that it is carried out in .1q, in simple words. Now, whenever a VTP packet, whenever VTP frame is generated, what would be the source MAC and what would be the destination MAC? Source MAC is going to be interface MAC. What is going to be destination MAC? Anyone?
Next hop.
Again, same MAC address what we previously saw in DTP. (01:00:0C:) 3 times. Understood?
Sir, can you repeat one more time, please?
Which one?
The same thing, VTP, like.
VTP will help you to basically reduce the administrative overhead. You understood that aspect?
Yep, that's done. Yep.
That is done. It is Cisco proprietary. Understood?
Yep, that's done as well.
VTP frames are carried out in .1q or encapsulation trunking protocol type .1q. Is this clear?
Yep.
Now, what would be the source MAC and what would be the destination MAC? Source MAC would be the interface MAC address of the switch.
And the destination MAC address you just created, like CCCC.
01:00:0C:(CC:) This is going to be the destination MAC address.
So that's the standard MAC address for the any kind of DTP, right? I mean, all the DTP, right? For the destination MAC address.
Yes. So this specific MAC address ideally would be used for multiple type of controlling frames. Okay. For DTP, we have seen it. For VTP, we have seen it. Correct? Now, if I just show you the captures again, I have switched off that lab. Not switched off. It is powered on. Just have to do the captures. I'm deleting all this and I'll show you. Yeah, this is one. Do you see CDP, VTP, DTP, PAGP, UDLD? For everything, let me stop it. This is for CDP. This is the protocol. What it is running is CDP. What is the destination MAC address?
Default, yeah.
01:00:0C:(CC:) Correct? So this is what we are using even for CDP. Now I will open up maybe DTP packet. Where it is? This one. This one is DTP packet. What is the MAC address do you see for DTP? 01:00:0C:(CC:) Again, same. So we are also using the same MAC address for DTP. So for all these protocols working at layer 2, it will be using the same MAC address, which is going to be 01:00:0C:(CC:) Understood now?
Yep.
Yeah. So this MAC address is only defined for the Cisco device, right? Or it will be the universal for any other vendor.
Other vendor can use them for their own purpose with only with their own requirement. But it would be moreover predefined for Cisco. Reason being, if on one side you configure that specific port as, so see the interesting fact. CDP Cisco proprietary, VTP Cisco proprietary, right? DTP
Yes.
is also Cisco proprietary.
PAGP as well.
What about UDLD? Is it Cisco proprietary?
No.
So this is where there may be a confusion which would occur between the devices if you are having a inter-vendor links. This is where the complexity comes. Have you ever heard the network engineering speaking about that they don't want to go with the connections where one side is one vendor and other side is other vendor? Why? Why they go with something like this? Why they prefer to have a same infrastructure? Because of these complexities.
Complexity, yeah, exactly.
So there's the CDP. I mean, let's say instead of the CDP, if we use the there's another link level. What was that?
LLDP.
LLDP. So that should be the different MAC then, right?
LLDP would have a different MAC address. It will not use this MAC address.
Yeah, sure.
Is this good? So what would happen? Let's say if on one side you have Cisco switch, another side maybe you have Arista. Let's assume this. And you connect a link and you are sending a CDP packet on this. What would Arista do with that CDP frame? I am habitual of talking about it as a packet, but it is more over a frame.
Well, the Arista doesn't know the CDP thing, so
it will drop it. It will drop it as unknown frame or unknown protocol. That's what it happens. Let's say Arista has implemented something which is not understood by Cisco. Even if Arista will send it, Cisco will drop it. That's how the two different vendors will try to talk to each other whenever if they are connected. Is this good with respect to MAC address?
Yeah. So one more question. So since CDP, so let's say, I mean, we can turn off the CDP, right, on the edge switch or router, right?
You
and
can turn. You can turn off. Yes, you can turn off.
Yeah. And in that case, what happened? Like, I mean, it will work. Like we don't have, let's say, CDP or LLDP turn on.
Okay, so totally depends what are you implementing. CDP or LLDP is just for neighbor discovery, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now consider you're trying to maybe form that as a plain STP. Let's consider this. If STP parameters or STP implementation between two different vendors has been done correctly as per IEEE standards, they will talk to each other. See, disabling CDP or LLDP will not hamper any of the actual production traffic. Making sense?
Yeah.
Go on. Any other doubts?
I'm good. Thank you.
Should we move ahead?
I have a question. So this MAC address will only work with CDP and
CDP, DTP, VTP, PAGP, UDLD.
Okay.
Whatever we have seen in the captures, in simple words.
Okay, correct, right.
Can I send a file on Zoom? Maybe I can just send it to you guys and you can refer it later on. CDP/DTP. Hold on. Let me check the chat to everyone in the meeting. Cool. I can send the files. This is easy. It must be with everyone now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Should we move ahead?
Sure.
Okay, I'm considering that as yes. Now, how many types of VTP modes or how many VTP modes we can execute? Anyone knows?
Yeah. So there's a transparent.
To the
Transparent.
server, client, and transparent.
There are three modes.
Server first, client, and transparent.
Right. So what is the first thing we saw? That one, the VLAN details can be sent across the trunk links, and you don't have to manually configure them. That is in simple words is what VTP does, correct? But how does on first switch the details would pop up? At least somewhere those details should be present. Then only it can populate to other people. If I don't have an information, how I can tell you? So to achieve this, we have defined the first mode as VTP mode server. What is the job of server mode, or what server mode can achieve?
You can
In the
edit.
server, we can create, delete, or anything. We can make the changes.
Yes. So VTP server in simple words is a boss. Okay. You can create, delete, modify VLANs. Understood what is
Yes,
what is
sir.
the job of server mode?
Yeah.
What is client mode?
In this client, he can only see. He cannot modify or he cannot do anything.
So this is reportee. In our words, or this is moreover public.
Like,
Yes.
And boss is nothing but government. Okay. So whatever changes your server is doing, client will accept the changes. So he cannot create delete or modify VLANs. It will only accept the details from server. Second is clear. What is client?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, cannot create, delete, and modify.
There is some fan noise coming in from my laptop. I'm not sure what is the problem. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Not sure. If I get dropped off in between, I'll try to connect from other laptop, but it may take some time. This is creating some weird noise. Now, okay, this is again has stopped working. Very bad. Just 1 second. It is running now at least, but I have lost the data. So first is server, who is a boss. You can create, delete, modify VLANs. Second is client, which is public. This keywords I'm just trying to pass so that in an interview you can easily remember. Cannot create, delete, or modify VLANs. It will only accept from server. Third one is transparent. Who are transparent?
Sir, it will not make any changes at its own end. It will just pass on the information to the next switch.
So transparent mode is nothing but a rebel mode. They will not listen to server. Okay. They will do what they want to do in simple words. So any of the details received from server to transparent will not be accepted. So no data accepted from server. So by that means he can himself create, delete, or modify VLANs, correct? For himself.
Yes,
But
sir.
it will not have the impact on any other, or it will not have influence on any other people. That is or any other switches. That is a behavior of transparent. But another important thing what you have to consider is if it is receiving some details from a server switch, it will pass on the details to rest of the guys. So in simple words, if I just draw a topology like this, switch 1, switch 2, switch 3. Okay. And let's say this is transparent mode, this is server mode, and this is client mode. So server, let's say I create a VLAN over here, maybe VLAN 10. Via VTP, those details are getting passed through switch 2. What switch 2 will do? Switch 2 will not create VLAN 10 here. It will not do that. But it will surely send the information to switch 3. And switch 3 will create the details of VLAN, or switch 3 will accept the details, whatever has been sent in the VTP packet, because switch 3 is acting as a client. That's how the behavior of transparent works. Is this clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Any doubts?
No. I want to ask you for the transparent mode. So, whenever I work, like I used to see the transparent. Mostly use the transparent only. I hardly see the server and client mode for any enterprise network. So, is there anywhere that people use that server mode?
No. Reason is there. That's where I'm going to come to the next topic. Okay. Now, what if you're having one more switch, which is switch 4, maybe connected over here and connected over here. And this is also server. Okay. But this is a rogue. To whom rest of the switches will believe? Would switch 2, or let's say switch 3 in this case, would believe on switch 4 or on switch 1? Both claims themselves to be the servers.
Yeah, there's an increment of the what is the
Revision number.
revision number. Yeah.
So there is this concept called CRN, or configuration revision number. Okay. Whenever switch would be, or whenever the server or any of the switch would be sending the VTP packet, it will have the details of CRN. CRN is nothing but one value, which would be in hexadecimal format. Let's assume this. Now, this value would be incrementing on per change basis. You create a VLAN, CRN would be increased and details would be sent towards other switches. VLAN is deleted, CRN number is increased and details would be sent to rest of the switches. You modify the name of that VLAN, CRN again would be changed and it would be incremented by 1 and it would be sent the details. Now, how? Let's say this switch 1 is sending the details maybe with a CRN number of 100 and switch 4 is sending with a CRN number of 150. To whom switch 3 would believe?
The 150.
Switch 4.
Switch 4. Why? Because the higher the CRN number, it believes the more it have a more up-to-date information. That is a basic logic. Now, why people are not using the server client mode? Because if you are this one probability that anyone with a higher CRN number would be taking over the precedence into your network, one probability. Second probability, by mistake, if you connect a switch into your L2 domain, whose CRN number is higher, maybe 1000, just any random number I'm picking, from an original or authentic VTP server, and it would totally flush off all the VLANs which ideally your switch would have. So let's say this switch 4 is a rogue switch and it is having maybe 5 VLANs created, 10, 20, 30, 40, and 50. But your original switch may be having VLANs created 100, 200, 300, 400, and 500. Now, for sure, your end ports as an access port or anywhere would be configured according to this, right?
Yeah.
According to these VLANs, but because switch 4 is having a higher precedence, what switch 3 did? Switch 3 did a very simple job. It removed all these VLANs and it added all the new VLANs. This is where the whole problem lies, that people don't trust on human errors. There is a high possibility of human errors, in which ideally no one expects you to do, but still it happens. And that is the reason server mode or client mode is not preferred anywhere. Making sense?
Yeah. So that the revision number will not change anything on the transport or what is called the T mode, right?
Transparent mode, VTP revision number is not impacted. Revision number is local to you.
Okay.
So whatever revision number, so even if server is sending something, transparent will not really be bothered about that.
Okay. So let's say if I am adding any switch, any other switch, let's say old switch replacing somewhere, right? And that's in the, do I need to delete the VLAN.dat file, or I mean, if I don't, let's say if I don't delete that VLAN.dat, whatever the VLAN on that old switch, and if that's in the transparent mode, and I just swap one of the switch, does that effect change the VLANs?
If it is transparent mode, no effect.
No effect, right? Okay.
Right. If the mode is not transparent, then the whole problem lies. Transparent is totally transparent, not bothered. He's a rebel.
Yeah.
Making sense?
Yeah.
Go on. Any other doubts?
Yeah, I'm good. Thank you.
Quick 9 minutes break, and then we will be continuing for next 30 minutes. And then for today, we are done. And tomorrow we will be extending more.
Sure.
I will be seeing you at 8:30 my time.
Sure. So 9:51. So
Yeah. So would be 10 for you.
yeah, sure. Thank you.
Bye-bye. BRB. Okay, I'm back. There is a doubt by Jessler. Is there any number of VLAN limitation? Yes, maximum number of VLANs what you can create is 4094.
So can we edit the revision number or not?
Can we?
Edit the revision number?
You can edit it. You can reset it to 0, or you can increase it only. There will not be reduction in the revision number.
So, sir, this villain part is already covered.
It is already covered.
Okay, so I have one question. I check on the Google, but I not understand fully. Like as in the VLANs, we have maximum 409 something. We can create ID total. So in there are some scenarios in enterprise level, there is more than 4,000 VLANs ID we need. So what we are going to use, I know that some VXLAN something concept we have there.
VXLAN concept is there, but to be honest, it is of no use, if you ask me. If they are, yes. The way VXLAN has been deployed, ideally, you would have to create an SVI, and then you have to map the VLAN to the VXLAN. So if you can create maximum of 4094, it means you can create a maximum of if you can create a maximum of 4094 VLANs, then you can create a maximum of 4094 VXLANs.
Okay, so if
possible creation, yes, you can create, but the use case to that doesn't exist.
So what is replaced? Like what we do then? What is the using?
To be honest, 4,000 VLANs in any infrastructure. I've been working for 12 years. I've worked with service providers. I have worked with enterprise, manufacturing plants. Currently, I'm working with bank. I've never seen anyone using 4,000 VLANs.
Okay, so in 4,000 VLANs, like how many, like what is the coverage? Like how many these devices it can cover?
Sorry, how many?
In this 4,000 VLANs total. So just for as an example, if someone use 4,000 VLANs, then how big the network or infrastructure will be?
Even with 2 switches, you can create 4,000 VLANs. It doesn't matter how many VLANs you are creating and how big the infrastructure would be. It would be more over different domains, right?
Yes.
Data, maybe for data, you are allocating 15, 20 VLANs. Maybe for voice, you are creating 5, 10 VLANs. So it is more over on the domains part rather than on the how big the infra is or how many switches do we have. That is not really important.
Okay.
Sir, what's your profile? I mean, you are on like a proper networking side or you are on a infra side?
No. I am not on an infra. I am working as an escalation engineer into networks. My expertise is into routing, switching, data center, ICE, multicast.
For the last 12 years, you are studying and working in this.
Yes.
Okay.
So you are working in India only?
I'm working in India. I only know networks, no other infrastructure part. I don't know servers. I don't know basics of servers from networks perspective, where you have to define the routes, how to check the details, but not the fully at the kernel level. No, I don't know that. I don't know storages. I don't know end user computing.
Okay, so that's why
Sir,
I'm working.
Go on one by one, please.
Okay. So regarding the VLANs, actually, so currently I'm working with ISP in the USA, actually, and so I guess you have heard the name Spectrum. So I'm working with ISP, and they are actually using 4,000 VLANs.
Totally possible. Just that with my career, I never got an opportunity to see that much big reason. Okay, so totally depends, right? With how much big player you are working with. Now, when I worked with service provider when I was a part of Cisco Tech. So I worked closely with all the major routing issues what they had.
Mhm.
MP, BGP, VPN, V4, traffic engineering,
Yeah.
BGP, plain BGP, ISIS, OSPF. That's what I have seen. Apart from that, if you have heard about rep topologies or rep as a segment, I worked on all these aspects. Not a fully blown service provider. It is possible. I'm not saying that it is not possible, just
Yep.
that what I have seen, I have not seen anyone using that many number of VLANs.
So regarding the spectrum, I guess like not with every other client, but like very few clients they have like configured 4,000 VLANs. But despite the fact that they are actually not using, so all the clients are not using 4,000 VLANs. Like many of them are just like they have made to create those VLANs, but they are actually not using
Okay,
those.
so even if they have created it, even if you're saying that with Spectrum you have seen you guys are using 4,000 VLANs, how many are really the garbage in that?
Most of them actually, yeah.
So
I mean, like
create-
that's what I'm telling you. Like, hardly I have. So I'm working as a junior network engineer, and the properties that I have been working on, like they are like couple of VLANs that they are only using. Most of them they are just like garbage.
Yeah, exactly. So when I say, moreover, we have to consider the use case, actual use case. I mean, if I am buying, or let's say if I am buying a phone, and if that phone have 50 features, am I really using all the 50 features? No, I would be using whatever I need. So from that aspect, I feel that even today, I don't think so any of the service providers would even using 4,000 VLANs. Creating the VLAN, I can create in one moment that I'll end up creating all 4,094 VLANs, 4,000, whatever is the number, 4096 or I. But am I really using it is what we are talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
A question, can we create 4,000 VLANs in single go?
I'll just quickly go. Config T VLAN 124,094. Exit.
VLAN.
Show VLAN. Can we create?
Oh, yes.
We can
It's just
create.
a second.
Within a second. So creating a VLAN is not a big deal. Actually using it is more important.
So it will increase the utilization of a switch also.
It will, what you said?
Increase the utilization of a switch.
That VLAN.dat file, what is created, it would consumed and it would be bigger for sure, because you are putting up that much number of VLANs into that.
Yeah.
So in production environment, we keep only used VLANs.
Exactly. You wouldn't be creating a garbage unnecessary, right?
Sir, I mean, like creating VLANs, like we can do it in seconds. However, what we do in production is that we do name them, correct?
Yes.
So,
We
so
do
that
name them.
so
That is
it's
a
not,
challenging task.
yeah, correct. I mean, that is not possible with though we can just go ahead and I mean, first have them on Notepad and then paste it in a one go. But I mean, that is not as easy as it is, correct?
Automation. Go
Yeah,
with
so
automation. And
we are using automation to create those many of VLANs. Like in fraction of seconds, you will have all the commands and everything, including the names of VLAN. But frankly, like it's a big task.
Manually, it is a big task.
Yeah.
Manual is a big task, but just like configuring automation, and even though like making eyes on everything, that everything is going smooth, is a big task.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So that's why, that's why I always say, practically it is not possible to use all number of VLANs.
Yeah.
So one more thing, I mean, on this server VTP mode, like whatsoever we are making, I mean, we are configuring VLANs, correct? So the ports which will be in the VLANs will not replicate to the others, correct? Or will the ports will also replicate?
No, ports will not replicate. Ports will
Correct?
be always manual, where you have to manually configure each and
Okay.
every port and tell that what this VLAN should be, this port should be part of which VLAN, whether
Correct.
this port should be access port or this port should be trunk port. All these are manual things.
Okay. Thank you.
Again, automation can do a lot of wonders, but in general, there will not be any auto replication.
How do the automation work? Like, I don't understand that you guys are saying that automation we can create multiple.
Ansible, Python, you can run a program which eventually will tell you that create multiple VLANs, and it will do that for you. Because our switches, our infrastructure, or whatever vendors we are working, it supports automation or that kind of programming models. It understands that specific programming language, and that's how you're able to achieve it. It can be done via Python, Ansible. It can be done via REST APIs with some platforms. It can be done via TCL bash scripting. It can be done via, what was that? Yang format, I believe. I don't remember the exact name.
Yang XML.
Yang XML. Yeah. So there are multiple ways to do that. Lalan, go on. What is your question?
Yeah, I want to go a little bit back. There's since we were talking about the CDP and the LLDP, and if we turn up the CDP and LLDP, and the VTP and DTP is still up, then what should be the MAC address propagation? Is that the tie up with the CDP, all those CCC MAC address for the destination?
So the same MAC address is ideally used for all protocols, but if you're running if you are disabling CDP, only CDP packets will not get exchanged. VTP will still work. Same MAC address is being used, but under that you are explicitly saying that this specific protocol belongs to VTP, or this specific protocol belongs to CDP. So that differentiates.
So let's say the switch 1 is the Cisco and switch 2 is the Arista or something, right? And that's need to be worked with the that's all the Cisco.
All Cisco proprietary, it is not going to work.
Now it makes sense. Yeah, that was my problem. I was not thinking that way. I'm good. Thank you.
Go on. Any other doubts?
I'm good. Thanks.
Should we move ahead?
Yeah, sure.
Perfect. Now we'll talk a bit about VTP packets, how it looks like. So let me ignore this. Let me clean this up.
And there was another like the version 3 of the.
We will be talking about VTP, what you call it, protocol versions. There are 3 type of versions.
Yeah. Okay.
So ideally VTP packet, what is present in VTP header? Okay. First is protocol version. Second one is what is VTP message type? Then management domain length. Which is by default of 32 bytes. It is a length. It is just showing you how much big it is, or it can go. And last is management domain name. Now, starting with protocol version, there are 3 different types of VTP versions. VTP version 1, VTP version 2, and VTP version 3. What are different VTP message types? Does anyone know? Okay, first type of VTP message is VTP advertisement. Second type is subset advertisement. This is the VTP message type, okay?
Wow, I never thought that.
Third type is advertisement request. And last type is VTP join message.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Okay, these are 4 types. And what is VTP? What is management domain? Management domain name, it is nothing but a string which ideally shows that this specific switch is a part of my VTP domain. So you can create multiple VTP domains. Let's say maybe switch 1, switch 2, switch 3, switch 4. These could be part of one VTP management domain.
Like
I'll give
AB.
I'll give that name as ABC. And then I have 2 more switches, or maybe 3 more switches, which are connected over here. But these 3 switches are, even though they are physically connected over everywhere, but these 3 switches are part of another VTP management domain whose name is XYZ. So let's say if I have VLAN 10 and 20 configured over here, and I have 30 and 40 configured over here, and I have switch 3 acting as a VTP server. Okay, and I create third VLAN, maybe VLAN 100, and I pass on the details to this guy. And this guy pass on the details to this switch. Maybe this is 5, 6, and 7. So would switch 5 or switch 6 or switch 7 would accept the details, whatever has created by the VTP server present in management domain of ABC?
Sorry, is that a question for
I
us?
guess yes.
I think yes, sir, because
They are physically
net-
connected. If they are going to accept the update what has been sent by VTP server, which is part of management domain ABC, and then what is even the motive of defining the different management domain? Why there is an explicit field within the VTP header, which ideally or differentiates what is a domain name?
So that means no, that will not forward.
Think logically. So what is the difference between, I was reading through this one document, some research report in which, so across globe, we have 6 lakh network engineers. Okay. And not everyone is making good money, or not everyone is at top position. What is the difference? How you think? What are your analytical skills talking about? So in this lecture, all our CCNP and RC and core, whatever we'll be going through or whatever I'll be teaching you, I will try to mold your thinking. I'll try to make you think in a different direction, not the direction what ideally you are generally thinking. And that's what we have done in our previous lectures for access and trunk. I believe Lalan, you was there and you are able to see what is difference. Same thing here. If switch 3 is going to send an update with the VTP header, or VTP packet would be sent to other switches, and those switches would relay it to switch 5, switch 6, and switch 7. If the domain names are different, would they be really entertaining that update? Think logically now.
I think when we change the domain, then there's a password.
If the domain, that is fine. Consider a simple topology, 3 switches with the domain XYZ and 4 switches with the domain ABC. Anything coming from ABC domain to XYZ domain, would that be entertained?
No.
No. So simple words, what is the basic requirement of VTP? That your management domain name should be same. They should be part of same management domain, then only it would be entertained. Then only that specific switch would entertain it. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, another doubt which may be coming to your mind, let's say this is another transparent switch. Switch number 8, and this is transparent. What if the domain name of this is also ABC? Would it still entertain that? Would it accept the update received from the server?
Yes.
It will but it will not change inside, but it will.
It will receive, but it won't change anything.
So it will relay the information. It will pass on to someone else, but it will not make changes itself. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Any kind of, go on.
Sir, I mean, like in our environment, we are using it the transparent, like most of the organization might be using it. So
Yes.
we do specify a VTP domain as per the site name.
Yes.
That's what we are following as a standard. So like, does that VTP domain still needs to be there while even we are using a transparent, or it has to be only when we are using a server mode or a
The
client
effect ideally is taken whenever it is server or client.
mode?
With
Okay,
transparent mode, the effect doesn't exist.
exist. Okay.
Right? Even if you are configuring it, even if you have 4 switches per branch site, and if every branch site, let's say for one branch site you have 4 switches, and even if you are configuring VTP domain name as different on all 4 switches within same branch site, it will still not take the effect, because anyone sending the data to other, no one is going to entertain that, right?
Correct, yes. So is it like compulsory now that like what we do is we do define that VTP more transparent to make it transparent, correct? So
Yeah.
is that I mean compulsory that to take effect like VTP more transparent, we have to define the domain name? Is that the command to be, I mean, there, or we can just do or ignore that command and just do the transparent mode?
Going to that, show VLAN brief. No, show VTP status. I don't think so. It is mandatory. It is not needed. So with
Okay.
specific version, the behavior could be different, but not general. Even if you don't have a domain name, doesn't matter.
Okay. On transparent. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank
Clear?
you. Yes.
Got any kind of doubts? Just make sure you're asking the doubts till we finish up the encore. Not at the only start of the lectures, or probably at the start of your curriculum.
So it will be more clear if you show the lab.
We'll
of
be doing
VTP.
lab, don't worry. We will be doing lab.
Okay.
I'm wherever it has been written, we have to do the lab, we will be doing the lab.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, move. Good to move ahead now. Any kind of doubts?
No, sir.
Now, what are different type of VTP messages and what are the values? What are the importance of those? First is VTP advertisement. So first of all, who sends VTP advertisement?
Server.
Yes. So this is sent by server. What is the time interval in which this is sent? Every 5 minutes. What are the other details does VTP advertisement carries? It carries the CRN, which is configuration revision number. And this is 32-bit number. What are the other details it does carries? MD5 encryption, which is nothing but related to VTP password. Now, how would a switch react whenever a VTP advertisement is received? Or basically, not VTP advertisement. The better word to that is that this is summary advertisement. This is the first packet type. So let's say this is my topology, switch 1 and switch 2. Okay, this is server mode, this is client. What would happen? You send a VTP message type summary advertisement using the short form. What switch will do? Switch receives this. The step number 1, what it will do? Compare domain name. VTP domain name. This is the step 1 it will do with its own domain name. There is a possibility if domain name is not same, is not equal, it will ignore that packet or it will ignore that frame. If this is criteria number 1, which is if domain name is not equal, then it will ignore the frame. Second criteria or second probability is if domain name is equal, then it will compare the CRN. I'm using the short form, configuration revision number, to its own. Okay, is this clear? What will happen? What are the two probabilities? Now, what would happen? You are comparing the CRN. Let's say the CRN here is 100. I'm assuming this simple values, okay? And CRN here is also 100, okay? Or maybe CRN here is what?
You're trying to get different CRN number?
No, that is fine. Any probability could occur, right? Either it would be same, okay? It would be better, or it would be lower. These are the only 3 probabilities.
Yeah.
Sir, can it be better? I mean, because whatsoever advertisement will be done from the server, so it should actually be same, correct? Or how it can vary from better or lower?
Probability we are talking, instead of client, if I make that as a server also.
Okay.
I'm just considering all the probabilities.
Okay.
Not only with this scenario, maybe this could be server or client. Then it could be anything, right?
Correct.
Now, it will compare this, and what it will do. If CRN is equal, then it would simply ignore that frame. Okay, if CRN is equal, it will ignore the frame. If my CRN is lower, it means we are talking from switch 2's perspective. If my CRN is lower, okay, what would happen? It means switch 1 is sending an updated data. Switch 1 has sent an updated data to switch 2, and switch 2 needs to have the most updated information. So what it would do in that case, it will send another type of packet or another type of message, VTP advertisement, what we have earlier seen, which is called as advertisement request. Clear what will happen with this?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Now, second type to this message, second type of message in VTP. My mouse is not working. Give me a moment. Second type of message, what we call is a subset advertisement. So what do we exactly know by this word subset? Anyone?
No.
Okay, clearing this. Subset. Subset advertisement is sent whenever there is any addition or deletion or renaming. So anything. So why subset? This is a big set, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. All VLANs you have, let's say on switch 1. And you created one more VLAN, maybe 70. The moment you create a 70 VLAN, do you really need to send all the details of all the VLANs? Is that required?
Probably not.
No, you only need to send a subset, a small part. Subset is nothing but a small part. So subset would be sent whenever there is any tweak or any modification, deletion or addition of the VLAN, that specific data would only be sent. This is nothing but your subset advertisement. Clear?
Yeah. So let's say if we add the 170 VLAN 70, right? It will not wait for the 5-minute route. It will just
No, not that's why it ideally should not wait for 5 minutes. It should quickly send it. That's why there is another type of packet, another type of VTP message which has been created called subset. It won't be sending all the details, right? It don't need to send further data. It needs to send a subset of that. That's where the whole play games. First one was summary advertisement. Second type was subset advertisement. Subset is just a small part. Okay.
Yeah, but it keeps sending every 5 minutes, right? And if
that
there
is different. That is a summary. That is a whole big summary I'm sending.
Okay. Okay.
But any small part would be sent via subset advertisement.
And this will not reset the 5-minute one, right?
No,
Like
no. That will not reset the 5 minutes.
Okay. So let's say there's a packet is sent and they are waiting for the 5 minute of the timestamp. And if let's say we create the VLAN 70, it will set in between and still the other 5-minute timestamp.
It will go. So summary advertisement will go at 5 minutes. Let's say current time at my location is 20:58, where I have sent a summary advertisement. Next one would be sent at 21:03. Summary advertisement. And in between, if some VLAN is created, then subset advertisement would be sent to that.
Just for that purpose. Okay.
Is this clear?
And so every 5 minutes when it's sending the packet, if the CRN is the same, then it will just ignore, right?
Ignore it. Yes. Third type of VTP message is advertisement request.
So just little bit like a similar like a OSPF model.
Incremental updates in OSPF is equal to subset advertisement here.
Yeah.
Okay. Advertisement request could be sent by client or server. Anyone.
Yeah.
Ideally server, because if another switch is acting as a server, then it would send the advertisement request that my data is not really up to date with what data you have. And in that case, you should send me the data or you should give me the data. That's where advertisement request will help you to give the information.
Right. So it's gonna be a main switch as a main client server.
What do you mean by that?
I mean, the switch you like act as a server. That's gonna be a main server, right?
Yes. No, not that. See, consider there is another switch who is acting as a VTP server. You have configured that as a VTP server, and the primary VTP server, who is an actual VTP server, he's sending some data to you, and maybe you as a server receive it and you found out that my data is not up to date with actual or the original server. I should send a request for that. So this can be sent by client as well as by server.
Okay.
And last type of message is VTP join message. Which ideally is sent by the client for the first time whenever it joins the VTP. When joins VTP domain. So let's say maybe this switch earlier was a part of domain XYZ, but this switch is configured with a domain of ABC. And the moment you change the domain name to ABC, this guy will send a VTP join message that I have become a part of your domain now. Understood? What are the 4 different type of messages?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool. That's it for today. Tomorrow we'll be talking about again VTP labs, VTP versions, more in VTP version 3, and then move to the next topic.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Any doubts?
Sir, it's related to the portal. I mean, on portal we see a 1 hour. I mean, I see a 1 hour class.
No, ideally it
and-
is going to be 2.5 hours to 3 hours on every Saturday, Sunday.
uh,
Because those have been by default created, it is showing you as 1 hour.
yeah, because it took to the course will then end on November. I mean, in November. So
No.
yeah. No
I
issues.
will get tired if I keep
Yeah,
teaching you
correct.
for 6 months only Encore.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Go on.
Okay, sir. So I just want to let you know that I used to be a part of your initial first 2 lectures, and regarding that, we had trunk and like hub lectures, very initial lectures.
Hmm.
Then after, like, somehow I got removed from the class.
Hmm.
So last weekend I was hoping to be in the class, but I wasn't like got any Zoom meeting links.
Hmm.
So again, yesterday I had a word with one of your supporter, and he enrolled me again in this class.
Hmm.
So I just want to know, like, what exactly I missed during last 2 lectures.
Only VLAN, access
Okay.
VLANs, access port, trunk port, native
Okay.
VLAN, default VLAN.
Okay. Okay.
Just go
That's
through
it.
the videos and then trunking encapsulation protocols, which is .1Q and ISL.
Okay. Okay. That's only case.
That's
Okay.
it. Yes, we started last week, to be honest.
Okay. Okay. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right, sir.
All right, sir. All right, sir. Thank you so much for that. Thank you
So
so
do
much.
we have, sir, any group something for this batch?
Not created. Someone needs to take the lead and create a group.
I think we used to guys someone do that because like we can discuss some real-time based scenarios on this weekend. So it's good if we have.
Who's going to take the lead?
I think Chintan will be good. We can do Chintan.
Me?
Your name is on the top. That's
Okay.
why.
Yeah, I don't mind with that, but I don't have everyone else like
We will drop our
numbers.
mobile numbers on this chat. So
We can if somebody creating that WhatsApp, just create the WhatsApp group and send the join through the link, and we can just click on that. It will add on that. So
So then it's look like Lalan is the best person. Lalan?
let's see. You just give me a quick second. Let's see if I can do that. I never did that. So, but I heard like that's how it's
Mm,
added.
mhm.
New group. Let's see. New group.
So we can drop the our mobile numbers in the chat so anyone can create.
So I already have dropped my number.
Yeah.
Who is going to get the lead? Like, do you want me to be a lead and create a group?
Yeah, perfect. You can go ahead.
Okay.
Chintan, I am dropping you my number so that if you
Okay.
have any doubts, you should be able to reach out to me.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, sir. Mm-hmm.
I am keep.
Yeah, I create the group. I'm not sure how I can add there. Mark and exit structures.
You can share the link of this group so that we can
Lalan,
join.
bro, you have very bad mic, man. Like I don't understand what you're saying sometimes.
Is it so? Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you have some mic issue.
Yeah, it might be. Just give me a moment.
So anyone got any update about NRC class?
No.
NRC, I think Sumit sir will continue this NRC class,
I
right?
will be taking NRC post this.
Yeah.
If you guys are interested to learn from me.
So yeah, I am.
Definitely.
But sir, it's gonna be weekend, right? Not weekdays.
Most probably weekend. I earlier before this batch, I was taking all weekdays. I don't wanted to compromise on weekends, but somehow I have agreed to continue the start weekends now.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel it is fine. One day you spend your 3 hours and so these are going to be the final guys who will be with this lecture, because last lecture there were very few. Before that, there were some different people. I keep a tab on my guys, whoever are learning, what are their progress. I ask the questions, I take the names, and I explicitly ask everyone where are they, how are the preparations. For me, it is on my personal touch where I want to make sure everyone is performing good, learn something new, and able to do it or work in their office or try to bring some value into their work.
I was waiting last lecture that I thought that I would be like directly inside in the meeting, and then I came to know that like I am not a part of the group.
No worries. We
Yeah,
have
so
not
it was a
missed
big
much.
trouble.
So from next, I believe you all guys would be part of the invite by default. If someone is not there, just follow up with your counselors and they should be able to add you quickly.
Okay, Lalan share the link.
Oh yeah,
Could you do that? Let's see if that will help.
On WhatsApp.
And sir, in case there is any day wherein we're not going to have a class, so we will be informed on email and all, as we used to get when we were.
I am
was
hoping.
doing-
I am hoping that won't be a big deal. Don't worry about that.
Okay, thank you.
And anyways, if I am not taking the lecture, I will just quickly inform you over WhatsApp.
Okay, thank you.
Good. Are we good to?
Is there anyone click on that link?
I have done
Yeah,
that.
I'm doing.
I have joined it. So link is working.
Yeah, it seems like. Okay, cool. Yeah, so click on that link and we will be on that. So, and let me see if I can.
That's fine,
Good to
sir.
drop off.
Yeah.
Everyone got the link. I am dropping off. It is Saturday night. Happy weekend. Drink less, study more. Bye-bye.
Okay, sir. All right. See you. Bye, sir.
Okay, so bye.